In today's craft, we're going to be making crocheted flowers. Comes with a free pattern, and I have added coffee filters and an accent to mine. To do the filters, you just put a teaspoon of pink food coloring in a pan, let them soak, and then you want to let them dry out on these paper towels protecting your counters. I use parchment paper. That's how they turn out. Let's get started with our crochet pattern. You can use any two colors that you like for yarn. I use the pink and the green, and I think it turned out really well. The yarn we're going to be using is this Loops and Threads. You can see there it's 2.5 ounce. Besides that, you want a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. In the US, that's an F5. So let's get started. It's pretty easy to do. I'm going to call this an intermediate just because, well, first of all, you're using cotton. And secondly, because it uses two colors. It's easy to do, actually, as long as you know your double and your treble. It's nothing too fancy. So let's go ahead and start. Make a loop, put it on your hook. I'm going to start by crocheting 7 chain stitches. 1, okay, and then we're going to slip stitch it into the first chain, and that'll make your circle. Okay, so now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're going to put 11 double crochet right in here, and I'm going to attach this at the same time, so I'm going to work around this. So just hold it along my circle and do that at the same time. So now I'm going to count the stitches, make sure that I have 11, plus the chain 2. Once you're confirmed how many stitches you have, go ahead and do a slip stitch in the top of the chain 2 using the front loop only. Then we'll trim off our yarn, give it a couple inches. Now we're going to grab our pink thread and slip it into our stitch. Now we're going to chain 2. Now the important thing is here is I'm trying to show you where a front loop only is. All the next stitches for the next round get crocheted in the front loop only. There's that one right there. And then the back loops on the back side. Okay, so there's the back loop and the front loop. Okay, there's the front loop. That's where we're going to put in our next stitch. Okay, it's going to be a double. Put it in the front loop only. See, there's the back loop. Now all the rest of the stitches on this whole round are done in the front loop only. Okay. So now we're going to do chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do a slip stitch in the front loop of the next chain right there. And that's your first set pattern. So here's our 6 double crochets with the chain 2 at each end. So let's start again, chain 2, 1, 2. Now in the next chain, just in the very front loop here, you're going to do 3 double crochet again. On to the next one. It's this stitch right here. Again, it's just the one. Chain 2, slip stitch in the top of the next double crochet from the previous row, chain 2, double crochet in this next front loop of the next stitch again, and repeat. So there I have 3 and 3, my chain 2, and in here, this one right here. Now we're almost done row 2, so we only got 1 row done left after this one. See how fast that works out? So now we're going to chain 2. Now, remember we did the first chain 2 here, so we got this chain 2, and we're just going to attach it right at the bottom here with a slip stitch.
Give it about another 10.
Okay,
I checked it.
Thank you. So now we're going to start on the second row. Now, I'm going to show you the second row, pretty identical. Instead of doing 2, we do 3 chains. Instead of a double, you do a treble. And instead of crocheting in the front, we're going to crochet in the back of the exact same stitches. Okay, got that? So let's start. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now our other set of petals will be a little bit bigger than this set. So let's flip these out of the way. Double. And if you look, here is our first, I'm going to get really close. Here are our first 2. You see how it's in this stitch here and in here? So the next 2 stitches will be right in here. And then in, see where this next one's there? The next ones will go right in there. So 1, so now we're doing trebles. And we'll do 4 of them instead of 3 because we want these back petals to be a little bit bigger than the front ones. So there's 3. Let's give it 1 more. That's 4. Now again, here's where our front one was. There's the back one. See, and it's easy to see, thankfully, because they're green. It would be harder if they were a different color. If they were all the same color, I mean. So let's go up. And then we'll put 4 trebles in this row, in the same one. Chain 3. Now if you look again, here's where we attached the chain on the previous one. So we're going to put it right here. Chain 3 again. And then we continue around doing our trebles in the back stitches. Two, 3. Now we're getting close to the end here, so I want to just, I think I got one more set to do. So again, we're going to find the back where the chain went, just right here for our slip stitch. Chain 3. Now, I actually find flowers are better to learn on than something large, because when you're on something, working on something large, you always got to worry about the tension. Not so much in flowers, because this is a small little piece. And if it gets too gnarly on you, too tight, you can't work it, you just start over. You're not using much fabric or material at all. Whereas if you're working with a bigger piece, like say a cushion cover even, you got to start over. It's kind of expensive. And the other thing is with these, you get a lot of practice. If you can work with the smaller yarn, trust me, you can work with the bigger yarn. Okay, so there's 4. Last one. Chain 3. And we're going to put it, the back stitch right here. Right there, see? And just slip stitch it through. Cut and tie it off. There's our flower. So now we can take and stitch them in. Now this one here at the back, we already did that, right? So trim that off. And I will grab a little darning needle for the other ones. I'm just going to stick mine through the back here. I hope you like it. I think they're very, very pretty. They'll be really nice up on my bulletin board. Okay, I'm going to go and do the second part now, which is the coffee filters. Let's go ahead and put our flowers together. You're going to need your crocheted center, and 2 sets of 4 of these coffee filters, and the green cotton cord on your darning needle. Okay. First thing I want to do is you want to line them up so there's central even as possible. We're going to fold them in half this way. So when I'm making these, I want the inner size of the blossoms to be a little smaller than the outer size. And if you look, this one here's a little shabbier when it folded, so I'll use this for the smaller one. You can judge, just make an judge. Now there's your blossom going to be, right? So I'm going to start mine right about here, I think. And I don't want it to be there. That'll give me some guidelines for the other side. Now I don't want, so I'm not going to cut it with lots of swirls in here. I'm just going to make them soft. You can do it any way you want. I don't want mine all looking like blossoms. I want them to be more like a poppy shape, I guess. You do any shape you like. Okay, so there's my little one. So I just want to make sure the other one's longer. I think I'll go right along the edge here and do the same thing. Just covering it a little bit there, and bring it out and curve it back out here. If you've got any little, see I got little snips here, just snip them off. Those ones. I'm going to do, starting at the bottom, I'm going to put my needle in the middle of that stack. And put the middle of this stack. And now you can twist them any way you want to make them look, you know, like twist your blossoms around. I just don't want mine all lining up correctly, right? Makes sense? I just want mine to look kind of messy. So I'm just going to twist mine around here a little bit. So now I'm going to take my flower. I'm going to put the green thread right through the middle here. So through the middle here, I think I'll go on the outside there. And I'll take it back through the same hole as much as I can. Now I want a second hole to go through the middle. This time I got to push it through all 8 of the coffee filters. Push it through here. Through there. Again, I'm going to try to get it as close to the other hole as I can, right like right there. There's a pretty flower. Now, in order to put it on my bulletin board, I'm thinking I might use some pegs like this, but I don't think they'll be long enough. So if they're not, I'll put them on with this here. I'll try it like that first. If not, what I'm going to do is you could take a longer sewing pin, the one with the beads on the end, and then glue a button to it. But I'm going to see how this works out first. Anyway, there's my little flower. Happy crafting.